On the 2nd of January 2025, Netflix released the Cinemalaya 2024 entry Love Child, directed by Jonathan Hurilla and starred real-life couple RK Bagaching and Jane Oineza. Hurilla wrote the story of the film, whose Carlos Palanca award-winning screenplay was loosely based on his own story as a father of an autistic son, perhaps the most stereotypical portrayal of an autistic person outside savants like Wu Young Woo, Sheldon Cooper, and Raymond Babbitt. You know, Rain Man, that guy. Bagaching and Oineza channeled their current relationship to play the role of the parents of an autistic child named Kali, starred by John Tyron Ramos. However, as someone suspecting to be autistic, I just noticed that the message resonates with parents of autistic children, but just as other media ventures, except for a few like Heartbreak High, autistic adults are once again being left out. Hi, I'm Ian Riñon, an independent alternative media practitioner, among other things, one of which is that of a suspected autistic, and welcome to the very first official Intrepid Ian Riñon video of 2025. The previous one that was uploaded a few days ago were actually B-rolls and bloopers for the year 2024. So this is the very first video for this channel in 2025. And today we would be reviewing Hurilla's Cinemalaya entry and why it would be a good idea to have autistic adults as technical consultants, at the very least, in media projects tackling autism. As I said, I suspect myself to be autistic, and for the record, I would like to say that I am still looking forward to having myself formally assessed and diagnosed, but then again, the suspicions are there. My goodness, the fact that I am recording this with a lot of bloopers, that's part and parcel of the suspicions. Bagaching and Oineza channeled their current relationship to play the role of the parents of an autistic. Off. Ano ba yan? Ano ba nangyayari sa ano ko? Boses ko? Ano ba nangyayari sa ano ko? Diction ko? Ano ba yan? Nakaka-display yan. And today, we would be reviewing take 2 dun sa intro. Ano ba yan? Ano nangyayari sa akin? Dapat handa ako sa mga ganito eh. Hi, I'm Ian Riñon, an independent alternative media practitioner, among other things, including, one of which, ano ba yan? Pasa ka. Hi, I'm Ian Riñon, an independent alternative media practitioner, among other things, one of which, ano ba yan? Boses ko? Ba't ganito boses ko? Take whatever. So the least that you could do is to like this video and share this around. Do subscribe as well to my YouTube channel, Intrepid Ian Riñon, and ring the notification bell to remind you of the videos I would be uploading now that we have officially crossed into the Jubilee year of 2025. This video also has an article version on my Substack. That's intrepidianriñon.substack.com. The name of that Substack series or Substack blog is the Intrepid Files. So do check it out if you want to read along while I'm sharing this to you through audio and video format. Before I begin, I would like to thank the Filipino Autistic Self-Advocacy Team, or FAST in short, an organization of autistic Filipino adults who seek to tell our neurotypical society that we exist, for providing their input and perspective in this review. And I would not be able to have this content out there on the internet without their help. Full disclosure, I'm also part of FAST, and basically I'm one of the pioneering officers of FAST. So yeah, that's my full disclosure for transparency purposes. So that's that. Now, everything beyond this point is a spoiler alert. So, I recommend that you watch the movie on Netflix if you dare understand my perspective. Either way, if you haven't watched it and you're still here, you've been warned. I have to admit, When I first saw the trailer for Love Child, I immediately cringed as I noticed the parent of an autistic child plot right off the bat. But since I have not watched it during Cinemalaya season, I held judgment of it until I watched it on Netflix. So it is important that you watch it on Netflix, okay? However, I still stand by what I said by the time it was released in theaters. And this is basically me doubling down what I said back last year, and also a deep dive of my criticism of this film, which normies, it should be normies, okay? Normalies, normies, whatever. I guess you can quote me on that, normalies, but they're normies, and they treat this as absolute cinema, as of a rom-com, as defined by Bagating's character, Paulo, and autistics like me see as a fucking cliche, as said by Oineza's Ayla. So, yeah, uh, you see the dichotomy there. This does not mean, though, that I already have a bad review in mind because of how it was written. The only thing holding me back is not only the fact that I am yet to watch it at that time, and I guess Dr. Peterson and his and one of his 12 rules, but also the specific data showing that many autistic adults get formally diagnosed after their children's autism diagnosis. However, I am getting ahead of myself, and I still see the premise as shit, despite the arcane chemistry doing the heavy lifting. Arcane is basically the love team portmanteau of RK Bagating and Jane Oineza. So, that's that. And honestly, I would have just watched the remastered version of Marilu Diaz-Abaya's film about Jose Rizal, which was released days ahead of the anniversary of the principal Filipino historical figure's execution in late 2024. But I digress. This film is also one of the last Regal movies, if not the last, executively produced by its matriarch, the late Mother Lily Monteverde. So, may she rest in peace, in that case. So, the story revolves around Paulo and Ayla and their struggles of parenting their autistic child, Kali, as a cohabitating, young, unmarried, college dropout couple in a cutthroat neurotypical world. Right off the bat, a developmental pediatrician, or DevPed for short, in Manila diagnosed Kali as an autistic, causing the couple to uproot their life in the capital and live in the Bacolod suburb of Silay in Negros Occidental. And for my non-Filipino viewers, we have an island called Negros and has 2 provinces in it. So please, for the love of everything that is holy, do not count this as my PewDiePie bridge incident, because that is really the name of the island. So please, for the love of everything that is holy, deal with it. Okay? If you don't want that, the name of that island, I'm sorry. That's part of who we are as Filipinos. Okay? I just wanted to get that straight. Jurilla's family is based on that general area, thus the inspiration for the screenplay as well as the creative decision to have the film shot there. Throughout the film, Bagatsing and Oineza animated Paulo and Ayla's parenting struggles in making Kali's childhood a little less hard than it already is, because Kali is autistic in the story. From listening to parents and their generally unsolicited advice to doubts about how and why they became a family in the first place when their parents despised the fact that they have a child, and an autistic child at that, given their situation. Since Love Child is a story about an autistic child as one of the main characters, I'm just wondering, are there any other characters in the film that are autistic? Because throughout the film, there were hints of an autistic headcanon where either Paulo or Ayla, or even both, could be autistic themselves aside from Kali. Paulo, a frustrated filmmaker, immediately referred to Tim Burton as one example of a famous autistic person. Throughout the story, he always makes references to several key aspects of film theory, not the theorist's YouTube channel, by the way, and film production. It was also noticed that Hurilla was trying to make Paulo break the fourth wall by the mere fact of referring to his love story with Ayla as a rom-com, short for romantic comedy, by the way, which the story seems to be hinting at in real life. This hyper-focus of his failed dream to become a filmmaker, as well as his persistent attitude to do what is necessary for his partner and their son, could make him a good candidate of a highly masking autistic. On the other hand, how about Ayla? Well, Hurilla failed to make her an autistic headcanon because it was revealed in several plot points that Ayla's uncle, named Arnold in the film, is himself autistic after it was revealed that Kali closely resembles him, promoting her to realize that she might have passed on the autism to her son. There was also some scenes where Ayla's suspected autistic traits could have been highlighted, such as her maternal instinct for researching about autism, her unfiltered frustration over the school kid who bullied Kali, and perhaps her hypersexuality, blatantly portrayed in the scene where she attempted to have sex with Paulo, and passively imagined by the fact that a child was produced outside of wedlock. What remains to be seen is the question on whether or not Ramos is autistic in real life. You know, the kid who acted in Love Child. There's a question whether or not he's autistic. So I guess time will tell. And speaking of fucking cliches, autistics have been mastering the art of detecting bullshit when they see it, specifically if it relates to their lived experiences. For starters, there are the general stereotypes and issues about raising a family, especially because of a neurodivergent in the family. This could be manifested in the main character's next-door neighbors and fellow parents, including a lawyer and single mother who revealed she was pleasuring herself with a dildo, a sexual toy that imitates what I have downstairs, that is, making unsolicited advice on how to raise a special child or a child with special needs. There is also a trope of local issues, especially with budget cuts and slow developments in the special education sector in the Philippines. And come to think of it, this hits a jab on the public sector as a whole, given the countless controversies that are being witnessed in Manila, while private SPED providers have no choice but to have expensive services due to neglect in the sector. I mean, I guess the reason why this was, released in Cinemalaya and not the Lost Sabongeros is because, the one Love Child did was, subtle, while the Lost Sabongeros was blatant. Either way, I'm looking forward to watching the Lost Sabongeros, by the way. So, I don't know, but it's it's a very good tangent to talk about. Maybe not as a YouTube video. So that's that. Another common trope specifically targeted to autism and autistics is the superhero superpower narrative, which a majority of autistic adults, some of them parents of autistic children themselves, either cringe or criticize as infantilizing. Autistic Filipinos should also not be surprised with the dominance of person-first language. Basically, when people say person with autism instead of identity-first language, aka when people call autistic people autistic, in the film, because Love Child Love Child uses person-first language in the film, given how neurotypical centric the plot is. There was also a fleeting mention of applied behavior analysis, or ABA, during the Christmas scene, which is the film's climax. So that's that. And speaking of the Christmas scene, there was a scene there where both Paula and Ayla were crying when when a local cover of the Christmas hymn Silent Night was sung by one of the students or one of the SPED children there. And I guess that also is that's also one of the things that make me theorize that either one of them or both of them are autistic. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. Yeah, I recorded this almost to the year when MatPat announced his retirement. So I guess that's my MatPat tribute again. And by the way, what's with the color teal dominating the infographic materials and posters of the film? Is it the director's favorite color or his autistic son's favorite color? I don't know, but I find that interesting. I don't know if there's something good that I can notice in this film, because we tackled the bad and the ugly, and now we delve into the despicable nitpicks. First of such compilations is the cinema sin of English subtitles. In this film, or in local films, I really don't mind, because I can definitely understand what the actors are saying if it's in Tagalog. Perhaps in other Filipino languages, yeah, I can still I can still notice, but having subtitles would be a good idea. However, there is this scene where Ayla was doubting her capacity as a good mother and was asking if she was a bad mom. Paolo replied in Tagalog, "Malayo Ayla, malayong malayo." The proper English translation for that should be something like, "Far from it, Ayla." Not even close. But the translation on Netflix was not accurate for some reason, so that's one cinema sin that I absolutely detected when I watched it. There's also some missed opportunities. The first one is that Hurilla failed to emphasize the fact that autistics also mask their true selves as soon as they grow. Given the fact that the plot was centered in the Bacolod metropolitan area, he did not consider incorporating the city's annual Mascara Festival, which features colorful masks used by the festival's parade participants, and relating it to the neurodivergent concept of masking. The very first video that I made in this channel regarding neurodiversity is all about masking, or neurodiversity in the time of masks. I believe that is the exact title of that very first film, or very first YouTube video that I uploaded regarding neurodiversity and autism in particular. Another missed opportunity was the lack of any perspective about Australia and how its government is struggling to cater to autistic Australians after it was found that they die earlier than non-autistic or non-neurodivergent Australians. Because I understand that at the latter part of the film, there is this plot point where Paolo decided to work in Australia, but also promised Ayla that he would come back for her and their son. So it's a missed opportunity on Hurilla's end. Anyway, regarding autism in Australia, I refer you to Autistic Aussies Orion Kelly and Chloe Hayden. Chloe Hayden is basically an autistic actress who became popular for her portrayal as an autistic character in another Netflix released content, which is the series Heartbreak High. I have linked both of their YouTube channels in the description below, so do check them out. A third missed opportunity to make it more wholesome or perhaps rom-commy is the non-verbal scene where Paolo measured Ayla and Kali's foot sizes, implying that he would promise them to buy them shoes upon returning to the Philippines. Someone from FAST, the group that I am part of, told me that the scene could have been mistaken as a proposal plot twist, but it seems it was for the better that the film was as it is, or because the film as it is shown was sappy enough. Here are some final thoughts. If there is a score I could give, Love Child gets a 5 out of 10. Or translating it to the Goldwyn review system, 2.5 out of 5. As someone suspecting myself to be autistic, I disagree with Goldwyn's 5 over 5 rating, but perhaps because the person behind those reviews may not have any concrete idea how wide and deep the autism spectrum is. So I cannot blame him for giving that kind of review and not being too critical about it, just because it's a sob story of centered around parents of an autistic child. The film's saving grace, as mentioned, is the Bagatsing Oineza real-life rom-com chemistry and the inclusion of a mobile cafe business, which is personally the prospect I am certainly looking forward to doing in the future. I'm not gonna say anything about that project, but I'm looking forward to it, okay? The reason why I went to the Coffee Culture Festival last September is because of that, okay? I'll that's that's basically what I wanted to do. And aside from those two, that's it. Though there are no other saving graces for that one. What seems to be the main detractor here is the fact that the local chapter of the Autism Society of the Philippines, an organization autistic Filipino adults denounce as not helpful to autistics nationwide, is one of the supporters of the film, if not part of the technical consultancy team. Another major detractor is the fact that Hurilya did not have the autistic film director JP Laksamana. I made a video about him being autistic or being diagnosed as an autistic, I think last year. Yeah, basically, he found out that he's autistic at the age of 35. And basically, Hurilya did not have Laksamana even as a technical consultant for the film due to his formal diagnosis. That's a missed opportunity for Hurilya. But then again, any critical take Laksamana might make would cost him his job in the Filipino film industry, all the more after he made some honestly dumb takes on meteorology late last year. So it's so unfortunate that uh you know JP Laksamana had that, let's just say, error in judgment or in how he understands meteorology. But that's that. It's already 2025. Let's leave it on the year that just ended, okay? But in all seriousness, there is a disconnect regarding how autism is being portrayed here in the Philippines, and Love Child is just strengthening the stereotypes that seem to plague our understanding of neurodiversity. But then again, there are more questions than answers after you watch it. Is the film a psyop to not have children in the first place? Or is it telling a story about trying to slug through the struggles of life, especially with a neurodivergent child? Perhaps allowing a sustained conversation for unusual topics is the current trend of independent films, and indeed, Love Child has accomplished that. But in conclusion, as far as autistic Filipino adults are concerned, there's only one thing they seek to get, and I quote one of the people I have conversed with while watching the film. This person said, "All we want is to be here and to exist." So to end this video, I would just like to reiterate that my rating is 5 out of 10 or 2 out of 5. Not only because Hurilya failed to understand the complexities of neurodiversity in the Philippines, but also, the autistic character is too stereotypical. But then again, I would have rated it worse. Let's just say 1 or 0 out of 5. I'm just being, I'm just being lenient at this point because, uh, it's well made, it's well edited. The editing, the technicalities of the film are very good, and it And it was selected for Cinemalaya 2024 for a reason. So I'm also crediting that, or I'm considering that in my rating. So that's that. Before I even run out of words, I would just like to thank again the Filipino Autistic Self-Advocacy Team, or FAST, for providing input on this video. You know who you are. You know who you people are. I absolutely appreciate the fact that I have um I have considered all of your thoughts in this video, and it's not just my own perspective, but also yours. So thank you very much for that. I would also like to take this opportunity to uh, tell you that there is an article version of this in Substack. It's intrepidinreunion.substack.com without the enye on my family name. And basically, the title of that blog is The Intrepid Files. So I hope you would also read that. And I may also, you know, put this video uh, once I have uploaded this on YouTube. Anyway, I have been yapping a lot for the past, you know, half an hour. Hopefully this is not going to be edited as a half hour video, but I'm consigned to this kind of shit. So it is what it is. Anyway, with all that said, this is Intrepid and Riñon reminding you to at all times be the salt of the earth and the light of the world. Until then, look alive, stay alive, be kind to yourself and to each other, and remember that you are different but never less. Now, before you go, I made a commentary video about Irish YouTuber Jacksepticeye disclosing his autism diagnosis in late 2024. You can check it out. I don't know where it is, but you can check it out in this end screen, right after, and understand why autistic representation matters. Anyway, thanks for watching, and from here in Intrepid HQ, a Happy New Year to all of you, and see you next time. Ian out.